Welcome to Political Muscle. I'm Paul Maverick.
And I'm Jennifer Goth.
And today we are warming up with the dumbbells.
We're actually doing a little circuit training.
Circus training?
Circus training.
This past Sunday in the New York Times, they had an article which linked expectation and performance for our president between two major issues that have been in the news lately, which is the Copenhagen Climate Summit as well as the healthcare reform. And I felt the same way. I felt there is something that's happening between these two events that connects them together. Did you follow the Copenhagen Climate Summit?
I did, and I think that there is a trend. Obama is one for very, very big, lofty ideas.
Oh, he's great at giving the speeches, isn't he?
He's a great speaker. But what about the action? And in his plan, when he says, when things come out of his mouth, does he know that they're not going to happen?
Yeah, who are the speeches for? Are they for us? Are they intended to indicate exactly what's really coming? Are they more of a cover for what's really going to happen?
The way I feel, I think, is the way a lot of people feel. I love Obama, and it's very hard for me to talk bad of him. Mm-hmm. But when you look at what he's done, or more what he hasn't done, I still want to say, oh, he's so inspirational. But if you're not doing anything and you're just some sort of inspirational speaker, write a self-help book, don't be president.
Right, that's well put.
But I didn't mean that, Obama. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it. Take it off. Take it off.
Well, think about the speech that he gave at the closing. He shows up at the end of the Copenhagen conference.
Yeah.
And he gives a speech that we are committed in the United States to this, to reduction of carbon of 17% between now and 2020 and 80% by 2050. And you're like, well, gosh, that sounds okay. The thing that he doesn't say in the speech, but that is the case, is that he's thinking 17% from 2005 levels, where the entire rest of the world, everybody else in the world, is counting from the 1990 levels. So Obama's 17% turns out to be between 3 and 4% the way that they're counting.
Yeah.
The scientists said we need a minimum 25% reduction.
Yeah.
And we're not getting anywhere close to that. Did we get a binding agreement? Did we get commitments to reduce carbon? No.
What's even more ludicrous is that people are saying, oh, we should focus on building our economy and not worrying about the climate right now.
And how do you build an economy? The new economy is the green economy.
Exactly. And that's just ludicrous. It's crazy.
Back home, the domestic agenda,
right,
in terms of the healthcare legislation, is what's on with the public option, what's off with the public option, this Medicare buy-in, which appeared out of nowhere.
Yeah.
We've got Senator Lieberman appearing to hold the entire process hostage.
Yeah.
And it looks, where's Obama in that discussion? He appeared to be absent. It's all the senators handling it. He's staying above the fray. He's staying in the background.
People don't even think Obama even had a public option in mind when he started out.
Yeah, exactly. All of a sudden, oh, what can we do about the public option? Oh, we're powerless.
So it was never even in his plan, which people feel cheated by. You know, you feel like a little bit hoodwinked, almost.
Exactly. What did this change we can believe in? Maybe the change that we could believe in wasn't for us. Maybe that slogan was really intended for the pharmaceutical companies. We're going to change a little bit, but you can believe in it because it's not going to threaten your profits.
Yeah. We're not creating positive changes, both in healthcare and in the climate. And I think that's instilling this mentality that we don't have to really look after anything. We can just go around about doing our business, and there's no consequence to our actions.
As you said about leadership, what we thought we were getting. Yeah. Obama said that he was going to hold negotiations with the healthcare companies on C-SPAN. This was going to be transparent, that government wasn't going to be captive to the lobbyists and the corporations. He said that in the campaign. He didn't promise us a lot in the campaign. He didn't promise us universal health care. He didn't promise us he was going to save the world. No, he didn't. He was pretty vague.
Okay.
But he did say, I'm going to be open and transparent. I'm going to be upfront with you guys.
Yeah.
Instead, we got backroom negotiations with pharma, $80 billion secret giveaways, backroom negotiations with insurance companies. The deal at Copenhagen, it was supposed to be United Nations Framework Convention, where the United Nations is democracy in action.
Right.
It turns out there are secret texts from that the Danish are working out with the United States that come to light, and that at the end, we had a 5-nation agreement. U.S., Brazil, China, India, and South Africa got together with a 12-paragraph, 3-page agreement. And that's all that came out of this meeting of 190-something countries for 2 weeks. That's all we got was 12 paragraphs that these 5 guys agreed to, and all they agreed to do was keep talking. So this thing that was supposed to save the world, instead, we're looking forward to Mexico City next year. So nothing happens. It gets kicked down the road, and that's what's happening with the healthcare thing. It's the other Western European nations and Japan have had this since the end of World War II. They've had universal healthcare, but that's what we keep doing, is we keep kicking it down the road.
Do you think Obama lied, or was he just being vague?
Well, I think maybe there was an implicit guarantee.
You can't guarantee anything.
Well, what a president can do is lead, right? What a president can do is say, here are my goals.
I'm going to try my best.
And we're going to do our best to get it.
Yeah.
And if we don't get it, I'm going to tell you why we didn't get it.
Yeah.
And we didn't get it because the Senate is a slave of corporate interests.
Yeah.
Call people out if they're...
Yeah.
Like, why does...
Integrity.
See, he could twist Byron Dorgan's arm in order to drop that pharmaceutical money-saving amendment, but why wasn't he out there twisting Joe Lieberman's arm? When Joe Lieberman said, I will only vote in favor of this if you strip the public option, if you strip the Medicare buy-in, if you strip these other provisions, if you take out everything that's progressive and everything that's this real reform and cost containment, take it out. So one senator essentially gets to hijack the whole process. Why wasn't he twisting that guy's arm? Unless he never really wanted any of that in the first place. This was supposed to be his biggest legislative priority. Again, sort of saving the world, environmentally, giant priority. Healthcare at home, giant priority. And on these giant priorities, he disappoints. Why is that? Because maybe he doesn't want the change that we thought he wanted.
Or he just realized that there's so much more pressure from not only like the right wing and conservatives, but also from corporations.
Well, and I think the two are almost the same. So you're right. So why don't we have that conversation? Is it a fear that if he brings it up and says, my fellow Americans, we are slave to the corporate interests, that all this corporate cash would flood to the Republicans? Our Democrats are at the corporate trough just as much, and maybe even more so, because the Democrats are in power now.
Yeah.
I mean, get that. We have the House, we have the Senate, we have the executive branch, and yet we're powerless. We're powerless for real reform. If we had 95 Democratic senators, they would say, gosh, we need 96. Yeah. It's never enough, because I think they don't really want to reform, because the system is so comfortable. It is so powerful, generating all these profits for the people at the very, very top. And now the boxing portion of today's show.
I can guess who's going to win.
Yeah, look at these guns.
But I don't want to be like, call you senator again. Like, what the fuck do you do? Because we're not seeing any results.
Yeah.
It's not enough. It's not shit. I just want everyone to be
auntie.
healthy and happy, and I don't want us to worry about money. And I think those are the issues with most American families, and it's very hard these days just to get by.
Are you calling for a break away from capitalism?
Yeah, you know I love that. Yes, I think we should be a more socialist nation is what Paul wants me to say. And
I want you to say what you really think.
well, that is what I think.
Well, then, all right then. We count on our leaders to lead, right? We elect them, we put them into office to lead, and what we're seeing is that they're not leading because the corporate cash speaks louder than our voices at the voting box. I don't know what the answer is to that.
We just have to get them to value love more than money.
I don't know. I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
That's, I think, where I am. I'm at the end of Obama's first year. I'm in a bit of a crisis and a crossroads. I voted for the guy. I want to see him succeed, and I just don't know what it's going to come to.
Same goes here.
The best I can hope is that someone like Obama can instigate a will among the people for real reform.
Well, the thing is,
and that true leaders will come along in his wake who actually
Yeah.
want reform and who can actually make it happen.
the population is so inspired by Obama. So that in itself is a good thing, I think.
I think you're right. I think you're right. This means a lot to a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's symbolically, he's a massive difference from what came before. Can we get someone who can marry that symbolism to the real substance? Someone who really wants to do well by as many people as possible. If enough of us speak out, they will have to listen. And with that, I'm Paul Maverick.
And I'm Jennifer Goff.
Let's get out there, get active, and flex your political muscle.